My eyes are in a dire situation. Without these glasses, without these lenses, I can't see anything. Thanks to modern technology, God praise human beings, I can see perfectly fine. And even without glasses, I can have the option to have surgery to get my eyes repaired. So, through my adventures of 2024, I've been looking into why my eyes are so bad and how I can fix them, which has landed me in the rabbit hole of the evolution of the eye, which is a very, very complex subject, as you can probably imagine, because there are so many different types of eyes out there, so many different types of vision, so many different types of pathways where the eye has evolved. Eyes are a very, very, very important part of life on this planet. Almost every animal on Earth has eyes. So how did these very, very complex organs evolve, and why are there so many different types of eyes? To learn about the evolution of the eye, we first have to go back to where it all began, over 1 billion years ago. The evolution of vision likely began with simple light-sensing mechanisms in unicellular organisms. The photoreceptor molecules, which are essential for vision, were present in some of the earliest life forms, including prokaryote bacteria and cyanobacteria. These primitive organisms had photoreceptive molecules similar to those found in mammalian rod and cone cells, indicating that the basic molecular components for vision have ancient origins. These early systems, called eye spots, were not capable of forming images, but allowed organisms to detect light and darkness, which was crucial for survival. But why was this crucial for early life forms' survival? Light sensitivity, or photoreception, is a biological trait that allowed organisms to detect and respond to light. From an evolutionary standpoint, light sensitivity likely provided early life forms with several advantages. Primitive organisms, such as prokaryotes and cyanobacteria, developed photoreceptive molecules similar to those found in more complex organisms, including mammals. These molecules, such as ospins, are integral to the detection of light and are involved in processes like photosynthesis in cyanobacteria, which is a type of photoplankton. The ability to sense light would have allowed these organisms to become more efficient at gathering energy by moving towards light sources, a behaviour known as phototaxis. Light sensitivity also enabled organisms to navigate their environments more effectively. For example, photosynthetic organisms like algae could move towards light to maximise energy capture, while others could avoid harmful UV radiation by moving away from intense light sources. Detecting changes in light intensity could also help organisms to avoid predators. A sudden shadow might indicate the presence of a predator, prompting a quick response to hide or flee. Light sensitivity is also crucial for establishing circadian rhythms, which is a fancy word for your body's routine throughout the day and night. This adaptation helps organisms optimize their behavior and physiology according to the time of day. It was these basic molecules and primitive light sensing mechanisms that eventually evolved into the diverse and complex vision systems we see in the world today. Now we have some sort of understanding of where, why, and when vision first appeared, but we're still so far away from the visual senses that we see in ourselves and neighbouring animals today. So, what were the first eyes, and when did they evolve? Eye spots, which are a simple light-sensitive structure, played a significant role in the evolution of vision by providing early organisms with the ability to detect light direction. These structures are considered among the first eyes in animal evolution and consist of just two cells, a photoreceptor cell and a pigment cell. The photoreceptor cell detects light and converts it into an electrical signal, while the pigment cell provides a directional sensitivity by casting a shadow over the photoreceptor depending on the light's direction. This basic setup allowed organisms to sense whether light was coming from a particular direction, which was crucial for enhancing behaviour such as phototaxis. While we don't have an exact date for the first appearance of eye spots, they likely evolved sometime between 600 and 541 million years ago, before the Cambrian explosion. A telling example of how beneficial and important eye spots are is the fact that even though more complex eyes have evolved in many species since, they are still relied upon by many organisms today. There are many reasons why eye spots still persist in some modern species. They are simple but effective. Eye spots provide basic light detection capabilities that are sufficient for many organisms' needs. They're relatively simple structures that require less energy to develop and maintain compared to more complex eyes. For organisms with limited energy resources, this can be advantageous. In some animals, eye spots work in conjunction with other sensory systems, providing just enough visual information to complement other senses like touch or chemoreception. As well as complementing other senses, eye spots serve specific functions beyond basic light detection. For instance, in flatworms, eye spots can help with colour discrimination and play a role in their regenerative abilities. The evolution of eye spots marked an important step in the development of more complex visual systems. Over time, these simple structures evolved into much more sophisticated eyes, capable of forming images, as seen in later animal groups. Like all changes in evolution, the transition from primitive eye spots to more complex structures were a combination of lots of small, gradual improvements over millions of years. The formation of the photoreceptive area into a cup shape was a crucial development as it allowed for better directional sensitivity. As the cup deepened, it evolved into a pit eye, which provided even more precise directional information. These pit eyes mark an evolutionary step in between basic eyes and more complex eyes. Despite these amazing improvements to ancient organisms' ability to detect light, there would be one important improvement that would change things forever and finally allow life on Earth to see the world around them. The lens. The evolution of the lens was a crucial development in the transition from simple light detecting structures to more complex image forming eyes. The lens likely originated as a protective layer of transparent tissue over the light-sensitive cells in primitive eye structures. Initially, this layer provided little to no focusing power, but offered protection to the delicate photoreceptors. Over time, mutations that increased the manipulation of light through this protective layer were favoured by natural selection. The tissue became thicker and more curved, allowing it to bend light and focus it more precisely onto the photoreceptors. The evolution of the lens dramatically improved the eye's ability to form clear and focused images. This enhancement provided significant survival advantages, driving further evolution and diversification of eye structure across all animal lineages. Researchers have estimated that a rudimentary lens could evolve into a complex, image-forming lens in less than 500,000 years. The first organisms to have lens eyes were likely early vertebrates that evolved during the Cambrian period around 540 to 520 million years ago. This period marked a dramatic burst of evolutionary changes, known as the Cambrian explosion. During this time, there was a rapid diversification of complex, multicellular organisms. This rapid diversification saw the evolution of two image-forming eyes. Look how far the channel's come. We now have our own little props for the purpose of this video. This is a trilobite fossil. It dates to around 500 million years ago, as most trilobite fossils do. And this specific one is from the Atlas Mountains in Morocco. But the fascinating thing about it is that it's a cool trilobite fossil for a start, but it also has, well, the reason that I picked the specific one when I bought it, if I could just get... So yeah, the reason I picked this little guy up is because you can see, yeah, the flash is doing it justice there. You can see the little spots on the eye there, and it might remind you of an insect eye, and that will be because it's the same type of eye. It's a compound eye, and compound eyes are the first eyes that we see in the archaeological record. Obviously, it wasn't the first eye ever to have evolved, but unfortunately, as you know, not everything can preserve, and the compound eye is the first eye that we find in the archaeological record. And the trilobite is the first animal that we know had image-forming eyes. So yeah, this little guy is amazing, and he paved the way for a lot of modern life, really. And this is one of the most primitive image-forming eyes in the archaeological record. It's fascinating stuff. It's amazing. I'm glad I actually have an excuse to talk about one of my little pieces in my collection here. But we'll go more in depth about the structure of compound eyes and how they evolve later on in the video. But as far as we're aware, in the archaeological record anyway, trilobites and compound eyes are the first image-forming eyes. But I mean, camera eyes and earlier forms of compound eyes definitely evolved before that, during the Cambrian explosion at some point. But as far as we know, trilobites had the first image-forming eyes. Early compound eyes were made up of numerous repeating units called ommatidia, similar to modern compound eyes. Each ommatidium consisted of about 8 sensory cells arranged around a central light-guiding structure called the rhabdom. The rhabdom contained visual pigments and conveyed brightness information to the central nervous system. Unlike the modern version, the earliest known compound eyes lacked lenses. This was likely due to the soft shells of early arthropods lacking the necessary layer for lens formation. In place of a lens, there was a triangular element interpreted as a kind of crystalline cone, positioned below where a lens would be. Early compound eyes allowed organisms to detect the presence and direction of light, as well as changes in light intensity. This provided basic visual information for navigation and avoiding obstacles. They produced a single mosaic-like image, similar to pixels in a digital image. This meant that compound eyes were particularly well suited for detecting movement in the visual field. This was crucial for identifying potential predators or prey. Early compound eyes, like those of trilobites, had around 100 ommatidia. This provided relatively low resolution compared to modern compound eyes, but was sufficient for basic visual tasks. Analysis of these early trilobite eyes suggests that they were best suited to bright environments, likely coastal shelf regions of ancient oceans. Some early arthropods, like Fushuanria pratensa, had compound eyes on mobile stalks, potentially allowing for depth perception and the ability to look in 2 directions simultaneously. Again, showing how advanced vision was in early multicellular organisms. Simple camera-type eyes may have evolved around the same time or slightly earlier than compound eyes, but the fossil record for these is unclear due to the nature of their soft tissue. The evolution of image-forming eyes might have even occurred before the start of the Cambrian period, based on molecular dating using DNA sequences of living animals. It's estimated that the evolution from a simple layer of light receptors to an eye capable of forming images may have occurred in less than 364,000 years, a blink of an eye in evolutionary terms. Evolution has branched off into many different directions since the beginning of life on this planet. Whether it's the chameleon with eyes that move independently, or the mantis shrimp with 12 different colour receptors, The diversity of vision on our planet is nothing short of mind-blowing. We're spoilt for choice when it comes to which eyes to start with, so let's go back to one of the most primitive image-forming eyes that has stood the test of time: compound eyes. Don't be fooled. Even though these eyes are some of the first image-forming structures to evolve, they are far from primitive. The compound eyes we see in modern animals have come a long way from the depths of the oceans 600 million years ago. Insects and some arthropods still possess compound eyes. But why is this? Compound eyes provide an exceptionally wide, often nearly 360-degree field of view. This panoramic vision is crucial for detecting predators from multiple directions, locating prey or food sources, identifying potential mates, and navigating complex environments. The structure of compound eyes also makes them excellent at detecting movement, even small or rapid motions. This capability is vital for evading predators quickly, capturing fast-moving prey, and navigating during flight. Each ommatidium in a compound eye processes light independently, allowing for rapid image formation and updates. This is particularly beneficial for flying insects that need to react quickly to their environment and also track fast-moving prey. Since the days of life in the early Cambrian period, many compound eyes have developed unique capabilities like polarization sensitivity, which aids in navigation, especially for flying and aquatic arthropods, and also UV sensitivity, useful for finding flowers and intraspecific communication. While compound eyes generally have lower resolution than camera-type eyes, they can provide sufficient vision for many arthropods with less energy investment. This efficiency is crucial for small organisms with limited energy resources. The modular nature of compound eyes allows for specialization of different eye regions. For example, some insects have developed bright zones in their eyes for increased resolution in certain areas. All these evolutionary benefits have allowed arthropods with compound eyes to successfully adapt to a wide range of ecological niches, from flying insects to deep-sea crustaceans. The persistence of compound eyes in modern animals is a testament to their effectiveness in meeting the visual needs of these diverse species. Camera eyes are almost completely different to compound eyes, with only a few similarities. This demonstrates how eye evolution can produce completely different solutions to common problems in different lineages. Camera eyes are made up of 5 key components. The lens, which we briefly touched upon before, is a transparent structure that focuses light onto the retina. The iris, which controls the amount of light entering the eye by adjusting the pupil size. The retina, which contains light-sensitive cells that detect light and convert it into electrical signals. The cornea, which is the transparent outer layer that helps focus light. And the vitreous humor, a gel-like substance filling the eye cavity. The eye functions sort of like a camera, with light entering through the pupil being focused by the lens and forming an image onto the retina. The single lens camera type eyes generally provide better image resolution, but may be less effective at detecting motion compared to the multiple lens compound eyes. Nearly all vertebrates have camera type eyes, including mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and even most fish. Remarkably, some cephalopods have independently evolved camera-type eyes, including squid, octopuses, and cuttlefish. Cephalopod eyes are remarkably similar to vertebrate eyes, in structure and function, though they focus images by moving the lens rather than changing its shape. An amazing example of convergent evolution, which is when different species evolve similar features or behaviors independently, even though they are not closely related. A few other invertebrate groups have also developed camera-type eyes, like jumping spiders. Even though we share this common eye type with much of the life on Earth, there are still some remarkable unique feats of evolution in some animals. The colossal squid is believed to have the largest eyes of any living creature, measuring over 27 centimeters in diameter, which is bigger than the size of most people's heads. Tarsiers also have remarkable eyes. These small primates have the largest eyes relative to body size of any mammal. Tarsiers don't have the reflective layer behind the retina that most nocturnal animals have, so they make up for it with their enlarged eyes. Their eyes are roughly the same size as their brain, and even large parts of their brain are specifically designated to their vision. Another amazing example of the variety of visual senses among camera-eyed organisms are snakes, specifically pit vipers, boas, and pythons. What's so amazing about these snakes is that they have the ability to detect infrared radiation, allowing them to see heat signatures in the dark. However, they don't achieve this with their eyes. These specific snakes have evolved little heat-sensitive pockets located and structured differently depending on the species of snake. These heat pockets, known as pit organs, are essentially a second pair of eyes. The cells in the pit organ membrane can function like pyroelectric materials, which are substances that can generate electricity when heated or cooled, converting heat into electrical signals. The electrical signals are transmitted to the brain via the trigeminal nerve and processed in the optic tectum, a part of the brain responsible for integrating visual and infrared information in snakes. This allows the snake to combine their camera eye vision with their infrared senses, essentially overlaying their vision with a heat map. So far, we've discussed how and when eyes first appeared, examined some key evolutionary steps, covered the structures of common eye types, and also highlighted the unique adaptations for vision in nature. But what we haven't covered yet is the human eye. There are so many things that make us humans stand out from other animals. From our neuron-packed brains to our ergonomic hands. But what is often overlooked when considering what makes us humans so great are our eyes. The human eye is an extremely complex organ. In fact, it's the second most complex organ in the human body, after the brain, with over 2 million working parts. Eyes serve a single function: vision. In fact, our eyes provide about 80% of the information we receive about our environment. But our eyes are actually linked to so much more than just vision. Firstly, let's go through how our vision benefits us beyond just navigating our environment and spotting threats. Eyes are essential for non-verbal and emotional communication, because they help us convey attention and interest, signal turn-taking, communicate intentions, understand others' mental states, build emotional connections and enhance bonds, convey social status, and express emotions. Even something as simple as eye contact can cause others to feel a wide range of emotions. Think about babies smiling when they lock eyes with you. Love interests feeling nervous or happy. Eye contact in confrontational situations can make people feel intimidated or scared. Even a mutual gaze between a person and their dog can increase oxytocin levels, which is often referred to as the love hormone. Apart from actually seeing and interpreting people's faces and body language, what is it about our eyes that has made them so important to our social intelligence? Humans are unique in having uniformly white sclera that is clearly visible across a wide range of viewing conditions. The sclera is the white part of the eye that surrounds the coloured iris, and it's actually quite rare in the animal kingdom. Although other primates and social animals like meerkats, wolves, and pigs have white sclera, humans have the largest ratio of exposed white sclera in the eye outline compared to any other mammal. It forms more than 80% of the surface area of the eyeball and extends from the cornea to the optic nerve at the back of the eye. The uniform white sclera in humans is thought to have evolved to enhance eye gaze signaling and non-verbal communication. It makes it easier for others to detect the direction of gaze, which may have been beneficial for cooperative activities in our evolution. Our eyes are even linked to our memories. Studies show that visual information is closely linked to memory formation and can trigger emotional responses based on our past experiences. Our eyes are amazing. What began as simple light-sensitive cells billions of years ago has transformed into one of the most complex and awe-inspiring organs in existence. The eye connects us to the world, capturing light and translating it into colour, movement, and life itself. Through the lens of evolution, we see how countless small changes across eons gave rise to the beautiful diversity of vision we see today. From the compound eyes of insects, to the deep-sea creatures navigating in almost total darkness, to our own eyes that allow us to gaze up at the stars. The story of the eye is a testament to life's relentless drive to adapt, to perceive, and survive. It reminds us that our vision isn't just a function of biology, but a window into the intricate and miraculous process that has shaped every living being. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next one.